Okay. Hey, Inua, so nice to speak to you again.
Good to speak to you again.
So I know that you've got a festival coming up, which is the 05 Festival
Yes.
at the, am I saying this correct? I never say the theatre correct, but at the Albany Theatre.
Some people say Albany, some people say Albany. Either is good, I think. Yeah.
Perfect. And for me, I thought, because I was reading through the whole kind of what the festival is about, and did you watch Insecure at all?
Oh, I haven't. I remember speaking to a friend of mine. She asked me and I said no. Then she said, "Why don't you support Black women?" We just felt so harsh. Just it's like an indictment. So no, I haven't watched Insecure, but I will. Okay. I just haven't had time. I've been doing other things. But yeah, go ahead.
Because in the show they have like a block party. So when I was reading what you're doing, it reminds me so much of block party. So if anyone watches Insecure, at least they know it just reminds me a lot of it, where you're doing a lot of like really cool things for the community. But Inua, can you tell me, because from what I kind of gather, it's run over a few days and there's different things happening on each day?
Yes, there are 5 events in total spread over 2 weeks. And there are different events happening. They're all gathered around literature and poetry and theater. So the first one is called A Block of Flats, and it's a rehearsed reading of a play that I've been poking a pen at for the last few years, which is set loosely in Brixton, but across South London generally. The second is called Search Party, which is me on stage reading poems, but it's audience-led, it's interactive. I have no idea where we're gonna go. We're just gonna rock together with a DJ playing tracks before and after. The third is called Poetry Film Hack, where I commission poets to write poems about films. And the film we've chosen is called Babylon, which was shot here in Deptford in Lewisham in South London about 30, 40 years ago. And when it was first released, when it was first shot, it was never released because they thought it might incite violence, racial violence and conflict here in South London. So it's just great to share it finally here. The fourth is called Twitter Poetry Workshop, which is an online workshop where people can just take part from wherever they are in the world for 1 hour on the 18th of March. And the last and final is the Rap Party, which is my poetry, hip hop, music kind of night thing that I've been doing for 11 years now, which started at the Albany 11 years ago. And yeah, so 5 events, all in the same venue over 2 weeks.
That's really cool. I've been to a couple of your rap parties and I think they're so good. They're completely different to anything you've ever kind of been to before, because you get artists that will spoken word artists that will have a poem to say, but there's also a collection of music that's inspired them. So it's really nice. If I was a spoken word artist, I'd do it.
The simple idea is that you get a poet. We've had storytellers, we've had novelists, we've had just thinkers. They read or share some work, some words, some stories, anecdotes, whatever, that it engages with any aspect of hip hop culture. And then my DJ plays two hip hop songs connected with that memory or that sharing. And we just do it for as many people as we have. And we usually have 10 people on the rap party. So that's it. It just democratizes so much. And it's just literature and words sharing, but with a music soundtrack. So much fun. Yeah.
That's really, no, I love them. That's one of the ones I'm definitely going to try and go. To be honest with you, I like to go to all of them, to be fair, because they're all really good. But that one I really like. Inua, I was going to ask you a question just about yourself and writing. So for me, anyway, I think you're a fantastic writer, and I always will say this. And I love your plays. I think, I feel like I've most probably seen them. I sound like a fan right now. But I've seen most of them. And the one thing that I loved was how people that don't even like theatre will come and watch your plays because they feel like it's a sense of communities being shown on the stage. What, out of all the plays that you've wrote, which one has inspired you the most? And which one do you think has inspired audience members the most?
Of all the plays I've written, which has inspired audiences the most? Oh, that's a good question. I think they all work in different ways. I'm definitely a communist at heart. And I strive to create communal work. I love this anecdote about the European Declaration of Human Rights. When it was finally declared, and the Human Rights Watch and the organizations across the world began to share it to various communities, lots of people from Latin America sent the Human Rights Act back. They're like, we don't want this. And the other organizations were like, why? This is dope. It protects the rights of the individual. And those countries from Chile, Latin, Venezuela, Mexico, they were like, that's the problem. What protects the rights of the community? Where is the collective impetus, the collective idea? And that's why I keep writing plays about communities more so than about a single individual. So all my plays have worked in that way. Or my most recent play specifically. My very first play was called The 14th Tale, which was a coming of age play. But ever since then, I've just expanded. I don't think Barbershop was inspirational. I think it felt like Barbershop Chronicles. I think it just felt like a mirror held up to the audience, So it was an affirmation of their particular cultural backgrounds and the kind of conversations that men have, and the multitudes that we individually contain, but collectively together in the same space. I think so. Maybe the play was inspirational in that sense, but I don't think it inspired people to go forth and do specific things besides have deeper conversations with their family. Well, actually, maybe that's the job of all art. That's the only thing you can do, right? Maybe. I think is the show that I have called An Evening with an Immigrant, where I just sit on stage and talk about my immigration journey, which is still ongoing. I think that may have been inspiring for audiences to think of how simple it is to just tell a story about yourself, and how much it made lots of immigrants who saw the show, who were in precarious immigration situations, as I have been, think I'm still valid. I can still be here. I can still demand certain things. I don't need to, act like a cockroach, which is what people like, what's the name? That journalist called Cockroaches Trying to Cross from the Mediterranean here. Katie Hopkins, I don't need to take on that negative lens through which I'm seen. So I think maybe that was inspiring for the immigrants who came to see, but also for members of British, Italian, American, and Australian and New Zealand audiences who have performed the show, who also thought I did not know our immigration policy, because I tried to localize the show in each of those countries.
But I completely want to say that I absolutely thought that that your play was extremely inspirational. To be honest with you, that mostly was my most favorite play of yours, because I left feeling very inspired. It was just you on the stage, very simple props. There was no kind of fancy gimmicks, but you told your story. And I think for everybody, they would have related. And I think what it did, I saw a lot of people that are, British through and through, that left with something in their face that made me realize that they will now see us all very as human beings, rather than people that have just invaded the country. And I think it made a massive impact.
Well, I hope so. Yeah. And this other play, I don't think I've mentioned it, because and by other play I mean the one that's going to be at the O5 Festival, because it's new. I don't know if it will be inspirational to an audience or not, but the same thing, it's about a community in crisis. It's centered around a woman of dual heritage. She's half German, half Jamaican. Her name is Lyndon, but it's about everyone she lives with and just being thrown into an impossible situation where they have to make a big ass decision that affects everyone. And it's about the community and how they come together and how their role reversals, how you think something about someone and it flips the other way, but it's all really seated in their characters. Yeah, it's called The Block of Flats. I really hope people come to that as well. It's a big ass play. God, it might be even bigger than all the others. Yeah.
Oh, really? How long is, because I know when you did Three Sisters, that was a huge play, and also it was a lengthy, solid play, to be honest. I remember thinking, how did you sit and write all of this?
So I mean, I think A Block of Flats is shorter in length, but bigger in scope. It's epic. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's a longer play. I hope not. We'll find out.
You can't give any spoilers, can you? Do you know, like, in my head, I'm guessing what I think the play is about.
What do you think it's about?
It's a hard one, because from reading the blurb and about it, I kind of, in my head, when I saw Block of Flats, I thought, okay, interesting. This is going to be a play about different people's challenges and cultures in a flat, because I live in a flat. I've always lived in blocks of flats, and you get so many different people from different walks of lives, and each person has their own kind of issue or inspirational story. But when you live on a block of flats, you kind of become like a little community. So I don't know.
Yeah. It's inspired. I mean, those are the very themes, but the way the stories unfold are very, very different. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's playful, I think, but Lynette Linton is directing the rehearsed reading, and she's awesome. Nice. And she latched onto one of the themes. One of the ways in which the plays work is that we had to establish the rules of the game. And by that, I mean the rules of the game of narrative, how the story unfolds. We're going to go through part of the play. I had to write how the audience understand the story as part of the drama of the play. So there's this bit where you're educating the audience on how to understand what is happening. Yeah. So they're just, but it's seamless. Hopefully, if I've done my job correctly and well, you wouldn't even notice that that's happening. It's just part of the drama unfolding. But Lynette quickly latched onto that. She said, "What are the rules of the game here? How do we tell the story?" And I thought, yeah, cool. We're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely that was the other one that I thought, right, I need to see, I need to listen. When you say it's a rehearsed reading, I'm guessing, so just so everyone knows, the actors will be seated, or are they doing any kind of like...
Yeah, the actors, I don't know if they'll be seated, but they'll have the script in hand.
Okay, great. Okay,
so cool. They're reading the text and they're performing it, but they're not inhabiting the characters fully just yet.
Right, okay. No, either way, I'm sure it'll be really good. The other one that I thought was very interesting is your online Twitter workshop.
Yeah.
Because that means no matter where you are in the globe, you can literally get involved.
Yeah, when I did this years and years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we had people from Mogadishu, from Canada, from schools in the UK, from America, from Kenya. The Mogadishu one really surprised me because I was like, what? But simply because I didn't think I had readers there who were aware of my work. Okay. But yeah, they were simultaneously writing poems that were structurally similar, but vastly different at the same time. And they sent all the poems to me, and we edited them and republished them. It was so simple, so great. Yeah.
I think I'm going to definitely join that one, to be honest. Again, don't expect nothing great, but hey. I want to see. I'm going to create a Twitter account just for it, because I don't have Twitter.
Brilliant, thank you.
I'm a dinosaur when it comes to social media. And what's interesting, because this is called O5 Festival, obviously there's 5 different days, but I also read that 5 is like your favorite number. Why is it your favorite number?
Have you seen it? The number 5, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dope? For me, it incorporates so many, because I'm a graphic designer as well. It incorporates so many aspects of all the other numbers. They're straight lines, they're bends, they're curves. It looks stationary, but it's also leaning, like it's moving, but it's not. So it has some elements of the number 2, which is one of my favorite other numbers, simply because of its shape. Yeah, but also it's just the perfect number. I think visually, and there are poems that have been written about the number 5. There are famous artworks about the number 5. I've been meaning to get one massive print for my room. maybe I'll do so after the O5 festival is done, the first one. And also is the number of teams, the number of players in a basketball team, which is the sport that I play.
There's 5 players only?
Yeah, 5.
What? Are you sure? Well, you would know because I know you love basketball.
Exactly. And then 5 fingers, 5 toes. And I was obsessed when I was a kid. I used to try and do things in 5. Like I'd high five my best friend 5 times when I'd see him in the morning. Like I'd eat like Smarties or Skittles in handfuls of 5s. So I've just always been low-key obsessed with the number.
That is so interesting. I need to have a number now because
yeah, I think you're either number 3 or number 7.
It's interesting you said number 3 because in my head I was thinking 3.
See?
So anyway, you know.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna try and make 3 my special number now. I'm gonna start eating food I'm gonna start eating handfuls of snacks in 3, 3 times and see how that goes on. Anyway, another question I just wanted to ask you was because you seem to always have something going on. There's never a moment that I don't see you're doing either you're writing a play or you're traveling or you're at the moment I always see on your Instagram you've got your little tiny notes of
my little poems. Yeah.
What is next? Are you gonna do some more playwriting or are you gonna focus more on spoken word pieces? What is your next project, if you can tell me?
Well, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, which is a little bit of everything at the same time. I'm working on a book of essays right now. I think it'll be published later this year. And working on a television script, on a TV script, and also a feature film as well.
Oh, cool.
And then planning to do an O5 festival in Ireland in July. And then what else?
So the O5 festival, this would be like a product in a way that you can do if you wanted yearly or globally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The simple idea was I wanted to create larger engagements with arts organizations and venues across the world. So rather than flying me in to do one event, which can work, but also it doesn't show the full breadth of the kind of work that I tap into. So the O5 Festival is one way to bring all of them together. So yeah, it's a product that I can do, that I can go, and I can then work with lots of local artists at the same time over the course of a week or 2 weeks, rather than just one every. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Yeah.
Because no, I like that. Because I was wondering if it was purely because of obviously it was just this one-off kind of festival, but I think the whole kind of the product of it, I think is fantastic. I think it would be good to kind of have it yearly or in many different locations. I can imagine loads of people would want to get stuck in because there's so many different things, because it's not just a play you're doing, you're also doing rap party, which it turns into a party at the end. So you can have some fun or you can learn at a workshop. Like there's just, it's really
I have
cool.
an idea for one more thing to add to the span of events, the stretch of events, which, can I talk about that now? No, not yet. No. If we're able to do the first one this year, then you guys will hear about it. But it's to do with writing for screen.
Okay, that'd be really cool. Would that make it the 06 party then? Festival?
No. So there may be 7 or 8 different things that I could do, but we only ever choose 5.
Oh, I see. Okay, great. Okay, that makes so much sense. And my final question, actually, and this is to do with your rap party. You always choose 2 songs. So if you had to choose 2 songs that represented your latest play, Block of Flats, what 2 songs would you choose?
Oh, okay. One is Just to Get By Talib Kweli.
One of my favorite songs of all time.
Because all the people are just trying to figure out how to get by, and it's just a melting pot of so many different issues. And also, there's a song called Hope for a Generation by a New Zealand band called Fat Freddy's Drop.
Okay.
Oh, it's such a lovely song.
I'm gonna have to Google it.
Yeah. So those are my two tracks: Hope for a Generation by Fat Freddy's Drop and Just to Get By Talib Kweli. Cool.
Fantastic. Do you know what? Talib Kweli is my ultimate rapper, my favorite rapper of all time. So I think every song works of his, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Inua, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.
And I look forward to the O5 Festival, and I'm definitely going to do the workshop. So you'll see me there. And I'm going to try my best to come down for the block of flats reading, because just the sound of it sounds like my kind of thing. So yeah.
Okay, well, I'll see you when you're here.
Yeah, you will. Thank you so much.